You got the Ultimate Boxer jumper on. Are we
Yeah,
going to see,
yeah.
Are we going to see a few more of those this year?
Yeah, well, I'm the matchmaker for them. Obviously, we matchmake. I matchmake the one. Was it in December, beginning of December, when Zach Cherry won it? I mean, it was only a semi-final and a final because of the number of fights that the board was allowing us to put on, and we wanted to put a few of the prospects on the undercard. That was hard work. We had a lot of pull-outs. We finally got it together, and a lot of people saying it was a one-horse race, and Zach Cherry was gonna win it. I mean, I wasn't too sure how good the other fighters was. They had decent pedigree, actually. So yeah, but no, yeah, I'm just waiting on the call from them just to see what we've got. I mean, obviously, luckily they have got TV. They've got BT Sport. I don't know what deal they've got going with him. I mean, I don't get involved in that side of it, but they are able to put shows on, should I say? So yeah, so we'll have to see what happens with that. But yeah, I think they've got the plans to put on some good shows.
Yeah, I like that format. I do remember that show because didn't you have like 2 or 3 pullouts in the week with COVID and issues?
Hard work, yeah. Well, we had the pullouts leading up to the show, and then we had actually once we had got in the bubble and everybody got tested, we had I think Derek Kasazi, he failed a test, so he couldn't box, and then we had who was it that was in the tournament? Somebody that was in the tournament. I can't remember now. He failed his test. Oh, was it Ben Riddings and Kieran Farrell? They failed, so they had to go home. But luckily, we had a reserve on board, the Bulgarian lad that was unbeaten on paper. He looked all right. He gave Zach a decent enough fight. Turned out his hardest fight, but yeah. So no, but we listen. We got away with it. I mean, we got away with it. It was tough, but we got away with it.
Well, at least you managed to get the show together, because I can imagine it's nightmares trying to find opponents like day before, 2 days before.
Well, especially now, because obviously that's the other thing that I was saying on an interview, that I mean, unless TV matchmakers, promoters are going to start giving these fighters, these away fighters, should we say, a bit more notice, then obviously they can't rely on fighters just coming within 2 or 3 weeks' notice now, because none of them's got no medicals. You know what I mean? None of them's getting medicals done until they know they're going to be fighting. So they need to start giving you a bit more notice, which if they do give us that 6 weeks notice, it's a bit more of a level playing field. I'm probably willing to take a chance with me up and coming fighters if it's the right fight, if they're going to give us a bit of notice. But they've got to be wary of that. I've said it before, because obviously they could start struggling putting bills together if they don't give fighters notice, because nobody's got medicals. And obviously with this new rule that they're bringing out, that to enter an NHS hospital, that you've got to have this test before you come in for your medicals, then you know what I mean. They've got to be wary of that and get us a bit of notice.
Would you ever consider putting on a show abroad? You know, you've seen it in some places in Europe. They've got crowds. You know, is that something that you'd ever have considered?
Well, it's just not possible, because obviously this is the thing with small or boxing. You've got a left and right side of the bill, and it's always a left-hand side that's selling the tickets to the friends and family. I mean, if it's abroad, then, and obviously with all the restrictions, everything going off, they're not going to be able to sell tickets abroad. I mean, and you can't rely on the area where you're promoting to come flocking to watch a load of boxing with a load of fighters that they've never heard of. I mean, unless you can get a couple of the local lads on the undercard, big sellers, but it's just a big chore. It's just not worth it, in my opinion. It's just an absolute headache and an hassle that I'm not willing to take. It's a risk I'm not willing to take. I'm going to sit tight and just see what happens. I mean, I am willing to take a few jobs for my fighters. I've messaged a lot of them. I mean, you got to remember, I managed 40 fighters. They only train 8 or 9. So obviously, hopefully they're in the gym with their trainers ticking over, and if the right job comes up, the right offer, then I'll consider it. But like I've said, they've got to start giving us a bit more notice, because none of them's going to have had the medicals. The thing is, they're not going to go out and spend £500, £600 on medicals with no dates, because the board have said that they can't backdate medicals. They can't change them. And with the licence fee, they're giving you an extra 3 months, which at the time sounded all right because we didn't think it would be going on as long as it is. But you got to remember, by the time these fighters, if they've not boxed, the time small or boxing comes back, it's going to be 18 months by the time they've boxed. So giving them 3 months isn't amazing, really. Like Robert said, I listened to his interview with you, and he was telling him that he thinks he's done you a big favour, really. I mean, listen, it ain't a dig at Robert, he's a great guy, but 3 months isn't enough to backdate your licence when these kids haven't been in the ring it'll be 18 months by the time September comes. I mean, my last show was March the 14th, so what you got, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, yeah, it's, you know what I mean, it's 18 months since some of my prospects would have boxed. And they're all, I know some that's actually gone and had their medicals done because while I was open, I could get them a little slot on the Ultimate Boxer undercard when there was a few of the pullouts. But even with that, I mean, because the notice was so short and they'd have had to come up there, rushed up there and had the test in, he wouldn't have got through in time. So that never happened. But they've all had the medicals done and they're just sat on them now and they've paid all that money out.
Yeah, it's not good, is it, really? You mentioned about a couple of offers. Have you had many offers for your guys to fight abroad on some of these European shows?
No, I really had none from abroad. I've had a couple off Matchroom, a couple off Warren and MTK and that, but not really. I mean, it's got to be the right job. I mean, I'm at the stage now, like I said to people before, I'm at the stage now in my career as a promoter and manager where I'm in that transition period now where I'm bringing a lot of fighters through, a really good set of fighters, a good bunch of lads. I worked out, I think I've got a good 15, 20 fighters unbeaten. That at least half of them I feel like they could go on to win a British title. So, and then I haven't really got many fighters at the top level now. I mean, obviously you've got Dex Spelman that's willing to fight behind closed doors. I've got Kyle Haywood. I've got Dan Cooper, who's obviously on the verge of an English title. I've got Aldous Corsica, who's Central Area champion. He'd take a good fight. I've got Bowen, who was just lost his British title. You know what I mean? I've got a few coming through, but not many at that level now where I can put them in these fights anyway.